Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago. Then let me ask you this. When you were a little bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be Judge Whacker, hero of the public's court. So what? See? And look where you are now. You're not Judge Whacker, are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did the court become theatrics all over testimonies? All that matters is that the man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? Yes, it would have been convenient for him to... Oh! Judge Whacker. I got an achievement for it. President guy claims that it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Alright. I just got an achievement for that. Hey guys, Zack here. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So, in the last episode, we literally have no choice, but in the last episode we investigated the entire story behind Matt on guard and why he was arrested, and as it turns out, his manager may have had something to do with it. So, yeah, we're going to be investigating that now, and now we're going to be bringing it up in trial, hopefully. And hopefully we're going to be able to shed some light on it. I have no idea how that's actually going to work, but yeah, we have some information regarding a mysterious card that Adrian has, and also we know that she was involved with the other guy, the guy who died. I don't remember his name, but because it's been a week, but yeah, we're going to be investigating all of that, and we're going to be doing a thing with the trial now. So let's just get into the trial section of today's episode and just keep going. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Adrian did it. That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I need a cough. I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. Okay. In any case, I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, Mia's still here. Mia, you must get complete acquittal today. I know. But I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Beep, beep, beep. Somebody's calling. It's him. This is Wright. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well... When I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait. What is he giving me? Please don't give me, like, her finger in a box or something. The kidnapper sent me a present. Mr. Lawyer, dude? Who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Alright. March 22nd, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 3. Alright, and there's nobody at the prosecution bench. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt and Guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. Where's the prosecution? I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor! Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. What? What? Yeah. What the hell? She was shot? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Yeah, this is spiraling out of control. I'm not very comfortable with any of what's going on. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. I thought he'd show up. Hey, there he is, Your Honor. Due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. I actually kind of like this guy's theme music. I think that I know that's a new thing for this game. That wasn't in the original, but where everybody had their own individual theme music. I like the theme music for Edgeworth. It's very, very him. I'll say, it fits his personality. All right. Well, at least we know Miss Von Karma is okay. I mean, I don't particularly like her, but I don't want her to die. She's a good prosecutor. It would be a shame to lose her. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and is familiar with the details. Okay. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Mott on guard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right? I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Here he is. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Edward definitely seems different. He seems like he's mellowed out a lot in between the games. He used to be very gung-ho about getting an acquittal, but again, about getting a complete guilty verdict. But now it seems like he's I don't know. He seems like he's mellowed out quite a bit since his time off. That might just be me, but he definitely seems like he's matured a bit. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Alright. Bare facts of the case. Alright, time to push. Time to push and shove till we get our answer. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. Okay, that's the name I couldn't remember. Juan Corrida. It's kind of bad that I can't remember the name of the victim, but that's okay. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was heavily murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Interesting. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alright. I don't think I have anything that I can push him on yet, so I'm just gonna push. Alright. I'm gonna press everything that I can. Okay, would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m., and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, Detective. So there was a half an hour where he was unaccounted for. Okay. That's the person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Unguard's manager. She's a real pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Ungard. After visiting his room, she went next to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. How was he murdered, though? The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Korea was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana. Banana. His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped directly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then, what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. Well, we have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Autopsy report added to the court record. Okay, so strangled with a start, then stabbed with a knife. So he was already dead when he was stabbed. Alright, well that's helpful. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. That's fair. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar, and yet the bright red guitar has yet to be found. We don't know where the guitar is. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. Ah, so much for my theory then. Alright, the guitar case updated in the court record. Empty, there was some water, but only on top of the lid burst Korea's fingerprints. Oh, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Alright. What convinced you that it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gateway Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Correa, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was out on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. Weird that he forgot it, though. You'd think that he would remember that. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why, then, did the police arrest Matt Ungard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. It looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Alright. Why an arrest Ungard? Alright. Matt Ungard and Juan Correa were huge rivals with each other. Yeah, there's probable cause there. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's more than enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Ungard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Except no. Because I think I saw... Because we've already seen this. We know that knife is from his dinner plate. Which means that knife was taken from the dinner plate and then used to stab the victim. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Bears the victim's blood and Ungard's fingerprints. In the grip Gatewater is engraved. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, wasn't it? And is this button also covered in blood? Yes, and we know that the blood is the victim's blood, sir. What? Jammin' Ninja's button added to the court record. It was ripped from the costume is covered in Correa's blood found in Ungard's hakama. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? Not yet. I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Alright. Well, that took the wind out of poor old Mr. Wright's sails. Alright, Vanguard and One Korea were huge rivals with each other. Alright. I'm not debating that. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Vanguard won, did he not? Yeah. But you know what's ironic, pal? One Korea was always one step behind Mr. Vanguard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Kurita lost the Grand Prix in the end. That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. He thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. Alright, let's keep pressing. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Vanguard was beating Mr. Kurita in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. That's a good point. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It's not, well... I guess you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. Eh? No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No! Now, detective. Let's continue with the testimony. Sniffle. No, not my poor pension, too. Poor guy. Poor detective can't catch a break. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? Alright, fair enough. As for evidence, there's the Jam and Ninja button. Do you have any proof that button belonged to the victim? Huh? What do you mean, pal? Let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Jam and Ninja's costume. Huh, but can't you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. It's a good point. But Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. Alright, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. Reserved off the ninja's costume was found in Mr. Vanguard's Sakama. Alright. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Kurita. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what's EDC trying to say about me here? Alright. This isn't going well. The defense fingerprints were also all over the knife. How are the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. So for example, how did he hold it normally? Or did he hold it normally or hold it overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife, then? The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. There's no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix? Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully, before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood, and a knife with Vanguard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in his testimony, no matter how small it may be, okay, Phoenix? Well, let's look at this. Let's look at this knife again. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved, which means he got it at the hotel. So it couldn't have been premeditated if it was at the hotel. Which does kind of stick a hole in the thing. Alright, this is the only thing I can think of, the only weak point I see in this, because the knife has Gatewater engraved in it. So that has to be where the hole in his testimony is. There it is. Yeah, it is. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument is that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. Okay. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Alright, so that's a fair enough argument. Yes, this is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is a hotel property. There's no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough to not to realize this. But I didn't know. Oh. Poor Gumshoe, man! This guy gets too much shit. This guy gets way too much of a bad rap. He deserves better. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why is that up? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Carito's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. Oh, there's a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Mount on guard. Ah, yeah, I knew this was a thing. Especially what was on top of his table. Ah, the knife is missing. I knew that was a thing. There's something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Montagard's knife was missing. Mr. Engard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. It's 2 pieces of evidence. Let's calm down a bit. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court? Court record? Yeah, we do. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. Oh, you may now present one and only one piece of evidence. So if I screw this up, it really is game over. Alright. It's the glass. This glass was just found next to the victim, and there's no explanation for it. It's just there. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken. His makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were on point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Ah, well, yes. It is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright? Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? Well, there is a possibility there, isn't there? And now that I'm thinking about it, that's a good point. She could have set it down without thinking. It's possible. Well, here's the thing. We know that he was strangled and then stabbed. So it's likely she didn't know that he was dead yet. That's a possibility. We don't, because we know he was strangled first with his scarf. Court record, right? We know he was strangled with his scarf. Yeah, he was strangled, then stabbed. Which means he would have been dead first. Which means he would have been dead when strangled with a knife. When strangled before the knife, right? So he probably wouldn't have been noticeably dead. It's possible. It's possible that is what happened. There's nothing that points to Miss Andrews not being the one who set the cup down. And if I raise an objection here, that would only make the judge slam his gavel down. You can't think like that, Phoenix. Mia, right now, you're hanging on a very thin thread. Anything else you can grab onto right now is better than nothing. So in other words, push as far as we can go. Okay, the defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves that it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, Miss Wright. Did you think that this wine glass escaped my notice? Then... Of course it has been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints. Fingerprints. There was only one set of fingerprints left on the wine glass. Only one. Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? What? It bears Andrews' fingerprints. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. And are we done here, Mr. Wright? Grr, I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Kurita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, Mr. Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. Grr. I thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness who would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Oh. Oh, God. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Ugh. Heh. Gotcha! Grr. I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under the helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. Okay. I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today, I'm going to tell you anything and everything. even things that don't have to do with the terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Ugh, shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgy right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, madam? No, please by all means interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Solbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean, you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, say he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I had no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Carita. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Alright, this is gonna be interesting. I'm a little scared. Alright. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Alright. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was Engard, Matt Engard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. That's usual. So Mr. Engard came from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's a murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. This is gonna be terrible. I can already tell. What did you witness, witness? Alright, time to press everything. And make sure we know all the information that we need. Miss Solbag, what was your post on that? What was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show. But I've refused to help, I'll have you know. It's for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took out a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on. Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door? There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. What? Something you were interested in. And just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy Poo, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later. It looks like we shouldn't force it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Alright, well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. What do we got? Oh? Then would you tell us the number of the people who went in and out of Mr. Carita's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why, ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, The witness then saw someone, correct? That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of the Juan's room. He was? Yes, he was? Oh, I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Franziska's whip right now about now. Well, I guess I can tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway. Alright, why was he sneaking? You saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yesy. Really? Annoying brat. When I saw someone, I saw that person. Why would do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. The person's clothes. Please tell us the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Right. So, Mr. Wright? Was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? Possibly. Not really. I guess it really wasn't that important after all. Mr. Wright, do you know why we say time is valuable? If not, I suggest you learn. If I said 3 minutes of this woman's youth, that's more valuable. Okay. She might have remembered things or mistaken things here or there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us, really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has the tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. Alright, we need to... You say my client. Okay. What the person was carrying. What was the man you saw carrying? In which hand? His right or his left? Now this is a real mess. I mean, I can't be expected to answer such a vague question. Indeed. Please be more specific with your question, Mr. Wright. Sorry. What was the man you saw carrying in his right hand? Ah, he wasn't carrying anything in that hand. Then how about his left? Empty. Well, this whole thing has been a lot of nothing. So, Mr. Wright? Well, actually, yes, it has been helpful. Court record. Because if he had used this to actually kill somebody, he wouldn't have... He would have brought this with him. Actually, it's very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important? You don't really have to put it that way to get me to say, Mr. Wright, there is something much more valuable than a person's pride, and that is time. Please don't waste this court's precious time with worthless questions. Yes, Your Honor. I think I just wasted his good favor. She may not remember... Okay. Alright, well... Alright, let's press a little bit. There's only one little thing about this. Okay. Person's face. Please tell the court about the man's face in more detail. You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and that effeminate lips. His white eyes covered by his silky hair, sparkling, shining teeth. His teeth were shining. Well, he's shining all around this week's pinup poster, dearie. This week's pinup. Why do you, I mean, I don't care how he looks in this week's issues. Please stay with what you saw that night. What? A guard's face is the same no matter where it is, you know, you whippersnapper. Hold on. There's gotta be something here. This can't just be a dead end. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Okay. Oh, there it is. Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket to be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright, witness please. Alright, well, I don't like to be badmouth anyone who without reason, but if I must. He was wearing this flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Oh! Press. Are you sure the defendant was wearing a racing jacket? What do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing. I'm sure he was wearing it. She's so sure of herself that's to the point of self-absorption. She may have remembered things and be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's... Okay. Alright. Court record then. There's gotta be something in the court record then. Well, the only thing I can think of is the docket ticket for the press conference. Because he was supposed to present something in costume. So, that's the only piece of evidence I have. It's the only piece of evidence I have, so if this doesn't work, I'm kind of stuck. So, let's try presenting this and see if that works. Well, shit. Okay, that doesn't work. Alright, well that wasn't what I needed. I'm stuck now. What about this? This is a thing as well, so maybe this works. Well, okay, this isn't working. Okay, I'm losing precious life. I'm losing precious objection points. Oh, okay, I figured it out. I just thought of it. This was found on his Hakama. So, if we present this... Aha! There's the contradiction. Miss Oldbag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Ah, it's button number 2 on the Jammer Ninja costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Can't give it to you as evidence. Wow, she really is a diehard fan who wants to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Engarde's body during a full-body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Engarde. It was caught up in the pleats of his Nickel Samurai Hakama pants. See? See? And Engarde is the Nickel Samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Engarde, was wearing his usual racing jacket? Hiding your face. Ah, I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe... Okay, she's rambling again. Alright. Okay, so that's not going very well. This is... Okay, so she just kind of went on a tangent there. Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Engarde, the man. But Mr. Engarde, the Nickel Samurai? But when you think about it... They're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy Poo, do you think they're so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one signed, not you. Alright, now we're on track to actually continue with this. Engarde. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Ah, you youngins today, I told you, there's no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. That's not helpful in the slightest. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Yeah, she's not being very helpful, so... pushing the witness a little bit might be helpful here. And guarding... okay. Would you please go on with your testimony? Watch your language, young man. What sort of tone is that to take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? A striking figure by the sea. Standing all alone is he. He's the Nickel Samurai. She's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you be good and stick to the facts. Okay! You promise, right? Right, I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth. Old chum. Alright, Nickel Samurai, that's right. Press? Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not? Not too long ago. Then let me ask you this. When you were a little bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be Judge Wagner here of the public's court. So what? See? And look where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did the court become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is that the man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? Yes, it would have been convenient for him to... Oh! Judge Wagner. I got an achievement for it. President claims that it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Alright. I just got an achievement for that. Okay, thank you for the achievement. Okay. Thank you for the achievement, Xbox. I couldn't have done that without you. I did not know that was an achievement. Alright. And why would that be? That way, no one can see his face, of course. But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. You are such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. Alright. He had to go through that post-ceremony station right after his crime, you know. Well, is there anything else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that included the German ninja? Of course it included him. That's why when On Guard came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. So let me ask you one time. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai. As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in her testimony and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is what the contradiction means for us. Well, I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. Alright. Wait, but if he was wearing a costume... Hold on, if he's wearing a... Wait, hold on. If he's wearing a costume, then he wouldn't have left fingerprints, right? Yeah. He would have been wearing a costume, so he couldn't have left any fingerprints. Yeah. There we go. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know that won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know what this piece of evidence is important in this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? And this is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? Whose car are we driving? Oh, the judge. Lovable, lovable judge. If Mr. Engar was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. A fair point. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. That doesn't make any sort of sense, though. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went into the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At the time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any possible problems with his theory? Yes, because he claims it was a premeditated murder. Yeah, there's a contradiction in the way he stated it was a premeditated murder. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you blabbling about? Now, for an argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engar was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without an intent. Well, the only thing I can think of is because he was also strangled. So if he had taken his gloves off, he wouldn't have. Yeah, that's probably it. He was strangled and stabbed. So someone would have had to have very much gone with in the intent to kill him. Oh, well, okay. Naturally, you would point to one piece with the least value, but such vigor. Enjoy your use while you can. Humans don't live forever. Neither do lawyers. Okay. Phoenix, pay attention. Let's pretend for a second Mr. Engar is the murderer. Now, from that angle, if he didn't have a murderous intent from the very beginning, then that means there is a certain object that shouldn't be at the crime scene, right? A certain thing. What certain thing? Okay. How are you doing over there? Busy collecting your thoughts? Alright, let's give this one more try, and with even more spirit this time. Because he brought the knife with him. This knife. This was used by Mr. Engar at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. And of course, then if that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't have been over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order! Order, I say! Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame Matt on guard. There's only one possible way. It would pin the murder on him. It's to frame my client, Mr. Engar, of course. To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? Alright, but if we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume, and if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Grr. Witness. Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Grr. Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Enguarde with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around the front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then, who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness? Ha ha ha. The way you think, you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Oldbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room, but it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Maybe. Phoenix, maybe the Oldbag was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think me is hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag? You were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Aha! Profile! Now we can start getting to the start of this. Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Enguarde's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is... Well, this is... Ha, I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then. Witness? What in the world are you? Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I've got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's what I was doing with my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This was going to take the wind out of you youngins. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information. What do we got? That Edgar is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me knows yet, okay? But you just confessed it in court, so I don't think that's going to hide very much information. Alright, the defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant? Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter. We found that the truth the article proposed is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true? Then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will toward the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right. Enguarde is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Okay, that was a very weird metaphor, but thank you, Phoenix. Alright, secret information. That Enguarde is one evil, evil man. What makes you say that? You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true. That woman was getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager to the stars, Miss AA. But the name of the magazine this came from is Gossip Land. What? Are you saying that gossip is all just a pack of lies? Pretty much. What do you know? I suppose next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% truth. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. Discriminate? When did I do anything like that? Anyways, Enguarde will never get me to say touche. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days? No. I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, that Unguard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with one. Okay. You don't have any proof that Mr. Unguard did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock. The shock of hearing the truth. And now, since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right. I can't do anything. But boy, do I wish I could do something about you. Okay. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you got. Can you show me proof that Unguard didn't bear any ill will toward Juan? Ooh. Do we have any evidence that proves that? I don't think we have any proof yet. Decline the offer at present. I don't think I have any evidence. I don't have anything to offer. See, just as I thought. And you were lecturing me about saying things without proof. You've just given me a free pass to say whatever I want whenever I want, silly boy. Me and my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles, for you anyway. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. So, what do you mean by I took action? Like I already told you, I was lying in wait to close the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was going to capture her and teach her a good lesson. Something you young'uns need. You were going to teach her a good lesson. I was going to make her eat the damaging beams on my ray gun. Okay, no, stop. Well, it was too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me knows yet, okay? And yet you just confessed that to the court. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill the hole into my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? Press further. If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got the secret information, you won't get to go home today. Edgy Poo, what are you doing? Help me. What do I have to do with this? Just do this for me. You'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but you don't give me much of a choice. Alright. The witness could have gotten your information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless blabbering. As long as we don't know where the information comes from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. Where did Old Bat get her inside information? There has to be something I can use to figure it out. Sounds like just another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. Well, I don't think I heard anything really out of the ordinary just now. There has to be something we can catch her on. Yeah, and when I find it, I'm going to press the heck out of it. Alright, well, there is one thing I can think of. I did look it up a little bit well, but apparently, apparently, according to this, the camera had secret information, had a tabloid article about the victim that was in the case, and the case went missing the night of the murder. So, this. Oh, that's not it. Okay, wait, then how am I supposed to, oh, I got a presser on it, okay, that's it. If I don't do this correctly, I'm gonna, okay. Okay, there we got it. Okay, I think this is it. Present evidence. So nobody's supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? What are you looking at me like that? Stop that. Witness? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? She stole this. The investigative photographer, a lot of heart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing. On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper seemed completely meaningless. Ah, that's it. That's the note. No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil Engard. She said so herself. Engard, I'm a psychic. She was so happy smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Poo, you'll believe me, don't you? Nah. Yeah, Edgeworth is at his wit's end. He's not happy with any of this. I was only trying to help out that like the angel I am. I'm the only one. It's only this one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook it just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Pile on more pressure! Just pile it on! If I lay up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you knowing brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Her camera. Because it was in the camera case. Miss Oldbag, this note wasn't with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying that something like my sweet $16,000 camera disappeared on me. Why, witness! What is it, Gramps? If you have this note, then it's only logical that you have the camera too. Grr. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people. I think your definition of borrow was a little off. I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Yeah, this isn't going very well for you. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. You must examine them at once. Alright. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. Huh. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you, that's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. Alright, last photo. What does it all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Engard clearly stated that, at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is... the defendant. I mean, okay, the evidence is really piling up. How did it come to this? I think this brings us all to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an exception here and blow it, then it would put Maya's life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took. There's... Actually, court record. Yeah, there's something strange about it. The pants are way too long. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Alright, now then, let's hear her projection. What about this photo is strange? The pant legs. Look at them, they're dragging on the floor. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does this mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Engard. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you care to elaborate. With actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. You can actually see his feet. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, you can't. The Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just a walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all. Mr. Edgeworth, what does this leave us? If the person in the photo is not Matt Engard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Engard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is this person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm? Mr. Light, let's hear your thoughts. Who is this person in the photograph? Who indeed? Well, it can't be Matt Engard. But curiously, there's something strange with the whole there was supposed to be a confession regarding the Nickel Samurai. Profiles. Well, let's think about this for actually. Can I can't. I don't think I can save. All right, so let's think about this for a minute, because we only got one shot at this, and then we're done. Both well, let's see. If we present that with Edgeworth, that would actually ruin the case, but that would be funny as hell. But let's see. We know it wasn't Miss Oldbag because she saw it. Adrian was in the room at the time, so we didn't show it. She's dead. Mangar was in the costume, but as we established, it's not him. The only logical person it could be then would be Juan, because he was still in his room at the time. But he was found. No, but he was found. According to this, he was found in his own costume. So, So who could have... But then why is the... So it has to be somebody. It's gotta be somebody, but I don't know. I, for the life of me, can't figure out who it is. But we only have one chance at this. So if I screw this up, we're screwed. Well, Juan makes the most logical sense, because he came out of his own room. Juan makes the most logical sense. Because Madangard was wearing his pants, but... Madangard was wearing his costume, but... I'm gonna go with Juan. I hope I'm right. If not, I'm starting over from the beginning, but that's okay. Are you saying that this is who you think was in the costume? Well, I know there isn't a lot to back me up here, but... Sometimes I wonder about you. Do you just pick the first piece of evidence you see? I can't believe it. I didn't think you would mess it up here of all places. And I am at the back of the beginning. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go back through this entire thing. Alright. Well. And that's it. Game over. I gotta start over from the beginning. Alright, well, I'm gonna go do that real quick. Alright, I'm back. It took me 15 minutes, but I have no idea who's actually in the costume. If I'm being perfectly honest. If I'm being honest to God honest, I have no idea. Well, I don't know who would be in the costume. My first assumption was off, and that wound up costing me the case. So, and we know it's not Matt because we just pointed that out. So, and let's see. There's not many people who could have been. It had to have been someone shorter. It wasn't Juan. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Well, alright. Well, if we're being perfectly honest, the only other person I can think of is Adrian, because she was the one who found his body. That's the only person I can think of. She's a bit on the short side. She's definitely shorter than Matt. She's the only person I can think of, because she's the only other person who would have been in the right location at the time. So it would have had to have been her. So, right? So let's present Adrian and see what happens. Adrian Andrews. If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Engard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Engard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. Why don't you just say what it is you want? Right. I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Alright, order! It looks like this trial has had a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day. Ah! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? This judge is about to adjourn the court. Raise an objection. Raise an objection to wait and see. I can't just wait and see. Let's try raising an objection and see what happens. Now then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not... Oh. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. Okay, so Edgeworth is helping. Sort of. But... we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Tisk. Unexpected development. I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. And what do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan. Even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. Ah, so she's already here. She is the next witness. Okay, so he picked up Adrian Andrews because she was the next witness already, so she's already here. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. So he knew this was gonna happen. He knew I was going to come to this conclusion, and he was just waiting for for me to catch on. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we can proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Yeah, 10 minutes is probably a good idea. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. And that's it. Okay. Well, that was a bit of a roller coaster, but we did manage to implicate Ms. Adrian Andrews, which is helpful. Now that we are able to actually point fingers at Adrian, we know that we can now prove that she did it, maybe? Because she at the very least she framed it. At the very least she framed everything on guard, since he didn't murder anybody and no psychologs came up, so we know he's innocent, or at least if he's innocent, he didn't murder anybody at the very least. And then there's the weird thing with the killer where he's trying to get a complete acquittal for Matt and guard. So it's weird. There's a couple of weird things at that point. But we also have to. But there's also the fact that Adrian was the one who found the body, which means there's evidence there as well. Overall, it's pointing to Adrian doing something shady, and I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it next time. But for right now, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter in the description below. Be sure to check out my Patreon in the description below as well if you want to help support the show. It's only a couple bucks. It helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks. I'm always saying thanks, so be sure to check those out in the description. Also, I have a Twitch. If you guys want to check that out, be sure to do so. I stream regularly every week, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. So be sure to check that out if you want to see me go live on any given point. And finally, if you want to see more content from me, then be sure to check out the videos linked in the end screen. The top video is the most recent video. It may or may not be this one. Whereas the bottom video is the video recommended to you based on what you've already seen from me. So, if you want to try something new or see more of what you like, then be sure to check both of those videos out. But, regardless of whether or not you do any or all of those things, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!